It's fun to finally be back out here. Playing and coaching is what players and coaches do, and it was fun to get out here and work with the players. For a first day, I thought it went fairly well. We didn't jump off sides a bunch. We were generally in the right formations. Pretty decent execution on both sides. There's plenty of things that we got to clean up, but the tempo, some of the things that we were demanding for them to do on how to practice, they're getting used to. I think because they're kind of just knocking the rust off, just like we are as coaches. So I think it's a good first day, good start, but we got a long way to go before where we want to be. So it's your time.
Pat, what's your biggest concern moving forward with camp in a shortened period of time?
I'm not so concerned now that we're out here doing it. I think there's always the anxiety and the anticipation to the first day, but I was generally pleased with the way the guys responded with a lot of new terminology. I felt like they handled it real well, and I think it's a good foundation of guys here to work with and build on.
What happened to Massaquoi and Steinbach?
Yeah, Mo's got a little foot deal that he came in with, and so we're just going to kind of evaluate that as we go and make sure he's just right when we get him on the field. And then Steinbach's got a little bit of a knee issue, same type deal. Nothing that we feel is serious. Just want to make sure they're right when we put them out there.
What happened to Watson?
Yeah, Ben today, you saw he was running across the middle, and it looked like he lost his footing on a route, and then he went down. I think he got a knee in the back of the head. So we'll have to see. I'm sure he's in there being evaluated, and so we'll see how he's doing.
Was with Mo or Steinbach, were those possibilities for PUP?
Well, not at this point. We feel like we can get him out here at sometime soon. So we'll see.
Well, Massaquoi was perfectly healthy 2 weeks ago in the Colt McCoy camp. So did that happen there or in between?
I don't know. There's some question as to when it happened. I'm not being avoiding your question, but I think he's just going to have to let it get settled down, and then we'll put him out there when he's ready.
When you met with these guys last night for the first time, did you have an overriding message to the team?
Well, there were a lot of messages because it was the first time I saw him. But one of the things is that we're moving forward. Respect for what's happened before us, and that in the NFL there's always change. Whether there's some change, a little change, a lot of change, and so, I asked the fellas to embrace it and move forward, and I think that was part of the message. I think that some of them might tell you if you ask them, and then beyond that, it was just some of the things that we're looking for and how we do business, and then there was a piece of the meeting where we're getting to know one another. Also had really all the people in the organization that are going to work with the players had an opportunity to really introduce themselves, because there are a lot of new faces, and we haven't been around each other in what has been really an abnormal off season. So from that standpoint, it was a little longer than most.
Pat, for the first practice, how did you feel about the pace and everything, getting in that drill? How did you feel for it?
Yeah, I think they're learning, what that pace is. I really do believe you try to practice at game speed as much as you can, from getting the play called, getting in and out of the huddle, and I think there's a little bit of a learning curve, even if you know it. Some of what I saw was what you might see on a first OTA after they've been away for a couple of months, and so. But for the most part, when we asked them to pick it up, they responded.
How do you envision Brandon Jackson's role developing?
Yeah, Brandon he's a fine football player, and I feel really good that we got him in the fold. He played 600 snaps, started 13 games for a team that won the Super Bowl, and offensively, I would say he's somewhat of a scheme fit, terminology-wise. The Packers, Mike McCarthy from a very similar book. So from that standpoint, I'm excited. He's really a sturdy-looking guy, and we like what we saw on film, and we're glad he's here. And he'll get out there as soon as the rules will allow.
Do you expect Usama Young to compete to start at free safety?
Yeah, we think so. again, he's another one of those guys that has had some production. He really is a tough guy, and I know he played good ball down there in New Orleans, and so we feel good about what he might bring to our secondary.
Do you guys feel, Pat, with Eric Wright leaving, that you need another cornerback to fit in the third role?
Well, I think we're gonna look in that direction. I don't know if we feel like we need one, you know, and you know, Eric, of course, going to Detroit. So I think most teams now are still probably shaping their rosters a little bit because we're starting training camp in the midst of, I don't know if this is the beginning, the end of free. I don't know what it is. You know, I have to get briefed on the rules every morning. You know, I think I can talk about it. But anyways, so you know, I think everybody's doing a little roster shaping. You know, and so I don't think you should be surprised to any team bringing in a player or two.
Considering all the new stuff about the CBA, rookies weren't supposed to hold out. What are your feelings about Taylor not being here?
Well, we obviously love to have him here. I know they're working very hard to get a deal done, and you know, I've seen this before in other places. You know, you just work with the guys that you have. The time they missed is valuable, but when you get them here, you know, we've got good coaches that'll spend time with them and try to get them up to speed as quickly as you can. Because there's a couple of phases to training camp that are important, especially for a big guy. You know, obviously the cardiovascular, the carrying your pads, the engagement with the offensive line, and then obviously learning what you have to do. And so those are all things that we'll just fight to catch up on when he gets here.
Thank you.
Leaders on the field, are you looking for some leaders, special teams, offense, defense? Do you have a feel for who that is already, or are you working with anybody?
Yeah, there's some guys that have stepped to the forefront. You know, I think Colt McCoy, Seneca, you know, are guys that have shown leadership, and that's kind of a natural thing from the quarterback position. Obviously, Scott Fajita on defense. You got Sheldon Brown. You know, some of the young guys have shown leadership. You know, T.J. Ward, Joe Hayden. You know, and then you got guys really across the board that you see some of those characteristics. Now we need to empower them to do it. And as they get more and more comfortable, most of the time, really good leaders get very good at what they do, and then they can lend a helping hand. And